Good morning, everyone. We'll get started Tuesday, April the 14th, Zoom emergency management meeting with the public. Mike Hurley, your police chief here in town, along with the fire chief as the co-emergency management directors. This is our third meeting, and as we've stated before, we intend to continue to hold these every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Where we give department updates from health, DPW, community services, fire, police, town administration, including Dan and his team and select board members. And then at the end, we will take any questions from the public that we can answer. And if we cannot get the answer for you today, we will get back to you with the answer. Again, a big thank you to Courtney, who has helped us manage these meetings and allows us to be able to do this. And also, we're on month 2 of our crisis. And I just want to give a shout out to all the essential workers in our community. Those that are still making things happen, supermarkets, convenience stores, Department of Public Works that has kept their operations going, members of our team who have been very active throughout this crisis. And of course, myself and the chief are very lucky to be able to lead our first responders who, to be honest, have been phenomenal. They're coming to work every day. We're answering calls. We're staying healthy. And I just want to give a shout out to them, but everybody, all of our essential workers, doctors, nurses, and everybody in the community. Just want to open with that. Chief, any opening comments?
No, I'll wait till my turn. Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you. So this morning we will open up with Hillary over at the Health Department. Morning, Hillary.
Good morning. Good morning. So I think today I wanted to just take a minute and recognize that I think folks are beginning to start to feel the effects of being on lockdown. I know I am at my house. It's very difficult. And I think if we can all acknowledge that this is difficult and we can open ourselves a little bit more to trying to help one another, we'll be in a far better place. So a couple of facts on dealing with stress and just a few things that we can try to do. We can try and take care of ourselves and our bodies. We should be trying to eat healthy, balanced meals, make sure we get out and exercise daily and get plenty of sleep. We can try meditation, yoga, or breath work. It's also important to continue to connect with your friends, your family over the phone or by FaceTime. Zoom seems to be getting a little exhausting, so I would recommend some more basic forms of communication. It's nice to see folks, but it's nicer just to talk and have meaningful conversations as well. We can take breaks, obviously, from television, watching the news, listening to social media, watching social media, have a dance party, just try and do some things that you can rewind or unwind with. So you can try something new, perhaps it's painting, cooking, or jogging, or planting some flowers, taking some gardening classes online. You can check the library website. They have all kinds of things also to help you find something new that might be enjoyable. And in addition to that, I would put out that phone number again for folks experiencing any mental health issues, whether it's depression or they're feeling anxious, having anxiety. That number will connect you with a professional that can help, and it's 877-870-4673. And I actually think about calling it about 4 times a day myself, so if you need it, reach out and call it. I think it's there to help us all. In addition, we should all be wearing our masks out in public. We are attempting to get some more masks for residents of Wellfleet through the high school. I think Helen had reached out to them. I reached out to them yesterday. I know Suzanne has been trying to actively get us more masks as well. So it's important that we do wear them out. Children under the age of 2 should not wear masks out. And anyone who has trouble breathing or is unconscious or incapacitated should not be wearing masks, or individuals that are unable to remove the mask without assistance. So those are the few folks that should not be wearing masks. Everyone else should be wearing them out in public when it is possible. And as soon as we get a supply of them in, we will announce it here and on the website so folks know that we have some to distribute. The other thing I wanted to touch on was quarantine. It seems that some folks might be unsure what that actually means and what that doesn't mean. So folks that are asked to quarantine, they should be separating themselves from other people. So what that means is that they should stay at home. They need to stay at least 6 feet from the other people in their household. So they shouldn't be getting close to their family members either. They're not allowed to leave their house. They're not allowed to run errands. They're not supposed to be going to the grocery store. They're not supposed to be going to the pharmacy. They are not permitted to have any visitors in their house. And they're encouraged to continue to wash their hands frequently, wash, clean, and sanitize, frequently touch surfaces in their house, and not to share any utensils or food with anyone else in their house. And they're supposed to be monitoring their health daily, taking their temperature, making sure they're not experiencing any symptoms of any illnesses. They can go out and take a walk, provided that they remain far, far away from other people. So we want to encourage folks to still get a little exercise. They should be wearing their masks when they're outside, and they should stay within their yard. And I think if folks want to hear the number of cases that we have in Massachusetts, we have 26,867. These are yesterday's numbers. And we had 844 deaths in the Commonwealth. In Barnstable County, we had 502 cases with 17 deaths. And here in Wellfleet, we have 2 folks active with the illness. We have 2 folks that have been released, and we have had 1 death. And I think on that, that's good for right now.
Great, I appreciate it, Hillary. And also, as the fire chief mentioned last week, every test positive case that the town of Wellfleet receives through Hillary, she does notify first responders, both police and fire dispatch, and we do just flag those addresses as a COVID-19 spot, just so that our first responders stay safe in the event of responding there. Also, last week, Courtney was nice enough to put together notes from our meeting last week. A lot of great information is in here. We're taking notes again this week. And on your Zoom chat on the side, if you would like to ask questions on the side throughout the meeting, please feel free. We are documenting those and answering those along the way. Thanks, Hillary. Department of Public Works is up.
Yes, hi, Chief. Thank you very much. Within the DPW, we have had to reprioritize many of our spring and early summer projects in the interest of maintaining the governor's restrictions. Projects that were planned included some drainage work, some paving, and a number of facility improvements that we have postponed till later this summer or even the fall. Maintenance and projects where staff can work independently and safely are proceeding, such as equipment maintenance, sweeping, cleaning of town buildings, some ball field improvements. So these types of projects we can proceed with. We're going to begin cleaning up the cemeteries to prepare for May. Administrative tasks such as Chapter 90 project request, design oversight for Lieutenant Island Bridge improvements, potential revetment construction in the future for Keller's Corner, at Keller's Corner. We're working together with Coastal Engineering on that. Drainage design for Lieutenant Island Road and other locations are proceeding. We're also preparing specifications for a number of bid documents that need to go out. And we are also working on specifications for bids that we received through Barnstable County. At the transfer station, we are constantly reassessing the transfer station operation while being mindful of the safety of the public and our staff. Currently, we are trying to be innovative with alternative methods in which to handle recyclables and demolition and even compost. And again, with this being our number one priority for us safety concerns. I don't know if Mike, are you on? Mike Sakali? Okay.
Yep, Mike's on. He just has to unmute himself.
I don't mute
Okay.
myself. Okay. Hello.
Mike, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. Hi, this is Mike Sakali, the transfer station foreman. I've been in contact with the rest of the Cape Cod transfer stations pretty frequently, and we're all sharing information as to what we're doing and ideas we're coming up with to try to get some services reopened. Every town has a little bit different equipment, and so that is probably a reason why some towns offer different things. That being said, we're looking at ways to reopen, but we're trying to heed the governor's advice here and wait for the surge to occur and reassess after that. But basically, we're coming up with plans for more than likely an incremental reopening, but probably nothing soon. Anybody's guess as to when this will be over. So that's what we're up to.
All right.
Thank you also for your patience, everyone. We know that inconvenience would be an understatement, but we appreciate everybody following the rules. Just trash, just household trash. There is a barrel for ash available, but please do not put things that are not trash in the trailer.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Let's see, so currently, besides what I have mentioned, our number one priority is to assist the police and fire department and administration for any relevant preparations and of course of any emergencies. And then going forward, we will be updating under the, if you go to the homepage and the COVID banner, and correct me if I'm wrong, Courtney, but if you go under the COVID banner, within that are department updates. If you click on Department of Public Works, you're going to be seeing some updates that we will periodically visit and update them. And so you can find out where we are at by going to that updates banner. And that's about all I have, Chief, for now. Thank you.
Great, Mark. Thank you. Also, I know last week your staff, along with Mike, had mentioned some local companies still taking demolition. I did hear from the National Seashore Law Enforcement Division yesterday that they're seeing an uptick in trash being dumped on the National Seashore property, construction, mattresses. And, you know, again, if we can just please get the word out to the public, if you can either hold those items until we can get back to somewhat normal operations, or I believe Daniel's in Orleans. Is that correct, Mark? Was mentioned?
Yes. Demolition. Yeah, they're accepting demolition.
So, I mean, whatever we can do as a community, you know, if you are out for a walk and you do see people dumping out in the woods, you know, please notify my staff immediately and we will take the appropriate actions. Great, thanks, Mark. Community services, we'll start with Suzanne first and then over to Becky. Suzanne, we got to unmute you.
Okay, unmuted. Senior Center continues to pick up and deliver grocery orders and prescriptions and get mail for people who call in who are either unable to drive or are isolating themselves because they have underlying medical concerns. It's getting busier. The places that do offer food orders are becoming overwhelmed. Friends Market, online access has been taken down. It's difficult to get an order together, but when people can get it in, we do pick it up. The Wellfleet Marketplace continues to be the most reliable source for people in Wellfleet. We have been reaching out by phone on a regular basis to every member of our exercise classes and to our frail and housebound seniors to see how they're doing. And we haven't run into anything. Our biggest problem was that the VNA nurse who does home visits and continued to do that during this crisis was out sick for a week, and that caused some consternation, but luckily he's fine and he's coming back this week. So our frailest residents will have him again. Let me see, beaches are beginning to generate emails and inquiries. We've done about $12,000 in online preseason sales for residents and taxpayers. I've gotten inquiries about what the beaches are going to look like, how are we going to staff them, and the answer to that is I do not know at this point. It will depend on the guidelines as we go forward. I do know that I want staff out there in some iteration because it cannot be a free-for-all, because we have seen how little people pay attention to guidelines in the last month, and I'm sure in the warm weather it will be even more of a press, and we will have to have staff out there keeping civil order. And that's about it. Becky has some exciting things to share with us, so I will defer to Becky at this point.
Great, thank you, Suzanne. Becky, if you can unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Great, yep, go ahead, Becky.
Yep, good morning, everybody. Let's see, I have a few things. During this time of social distancing and uncertainty, the Recreation Department is continuing to move forward as best we can with planning for the summer 2020 season. Sign-up links for the Bakersfield Recreation and Gull Pond Swim Program can be found on the town website, in addition to the Music at Mayo concert schedule and all other planned summer programs and events. The department, will move into our office at Bakersfield on Memorial Day weekend. In the meantime, the department has initiated several virtual ways to connect with the community. A Google Meet platform has been created through which we will be offering classes and events free of charge, including instruction in capoeira and soccer, and a weekly dance party with DJs Angel and JT. This Saturday at 6 p.m., we will be hosting a virtual square dance with callers Ty and Amy Lemerand from the summer. Please check the Town of Wellfleet website for links to all these activities, which will be posted on will also be posted on the Wellfleet Recreation Facebook page and on our Instagram account, which is well.fleetrec1. Anyone with a Google email account can log on to these events. The department, in partnership with the Wellfleet Police Department, will continue to offer a bi-weekly fitness challenge with prizes handed out to those that submit their weekly fitness tally sheets to us. Birthday caravans will take place for all Wellfleet Elementary School students that have birthdays during this time. Many thanks to the Wellfleet Police, Wellfleet Fire, and Beach departments, along with elementary school staff, families, and community members for coming together to celebrate each child's special day. Each birthday child will also receive a gift certificate from a Wellfleet business, which serves the dual purpose of providing gifts and supporting local businesses. We miss seeing everyone in person, but are always glad to hear from you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us via email, telephone, or on Facebook or Instagram. And just as a side note, the dance parties are really fun. I participated in the one last Friday. Many residents, old and young, were there, and it was a good way, as Hillary said, to sort of just have some fun and see some familiar faces. And so we hope that you turn in. Google Meet is very, very easy to use. If you have a Google email account, you just click on the link that we provide, which is on the town website, and it'll put you right into the into the event or meeting. The classes are awesome. We have Andre Lima is doing capoeira every Saturday morning, which is wonderful. And then we have Frank, I forgot his last name now, but he's from the Soccer Stars, and he's done a lot of work with the kids in soccer, has some awesome drills and, fun games that kids can do at home with soccer. So please check it out, call us if you have any problems. Angel and I alternate between being in the office at the elementary school, and we're looking forward to going back down to Bakersfield as well. So that's all I have, Chief. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks, Becky. And if you probably noticed, I've been sending my younger staff members for the the exercise stuff, but I'm sure you may see the rest of us out there sooner than later.
Good,
Just
we
the
hope
fire
so.
department has to bring an AED, that's all. Chief, you're up next.
Thank you, Chief. I'll make sure my AED is working and it's in the car. We'll also be participating in that, Becky. We're trying to also recruit some of our folks, and so we'll see where that goes. Along those lines, everyone in the department is still healthy at this point. We have enough personal protective equipment gear for at least 30 days. We have had success in getting deliveries through MEMA, and they've been pretty timely. So that's positive. I also just want to do a shout out to a couple of the businesses in town that I feel have really stepped up. Certainly the Wellfleet Marketplace, every time I go in there, people are asking how you doing, and it's good to see you. They're working hard. Blackfish Variety, and I'm not meaning to exclude anyone, but also the Fox and Crow Cafe is doing a fantastic job, as I know most people know, in providing breakfast to those in need on a daily basis. I think they're approaching 2,500 breakfasts in the last 3 weeks. So to Trudy and to Bruce and everyone there, it's very much appreciated. We have been working with Outer Cape Health to assist them with fit testing for their N95 masks for all of their personnel. So they've been sending a few people over every day as we've been able to do so. And that's going over well. Along the lines, we're recommending that if people do go out in accordance with the governor's a recommendation, that they also wear a surgical mask or a mask of some type. We think that's important, and we think that's very good advice. Having said that, please don't let that become a false sense of security for everyone out there. Still maintain the social distance. Still certainly minimize your trips outside that you have to, again, for food or medical needs, prescriptions, and so forth. So we again certainly encourage folks to wear masks, but again, please don't lull that into a false sense of security. And I think that's all I have right now, Chief.
Great, thanks, Chief. I appreciate the update. Also, along the Chief's lines, the common table Fox and Crow. Again, this morning, another delivery of hot meals for our staff. Very much appreciated. And again, all the businesses either sending us messages or dropping things off here is very well appreciated, and thank you. The update from the police department, I'll keep it brief this morning. First of all, a big thank you to the public. We have definitely in the past week have seen a decrease in calls to our dispatch center. I think that people are heeding the social distancing. The recreation areas that are closed have not seen members of the public on it, so we do appreciate that. And like Becky states, as soon as we can get that safely open to the public, we will. But again, a thank you for that. And we are keeping an eye on the beaches. I appreciate everybody's patience and the social distancing that's happening up there. As the chief stated, our department is healthy. We do have all of our staff members. However, we are still following all the guidelines. Our lobby is open for emergency business, and we are still responding to both emergency and non-emergency calls in the community. Up on some social media sites and on the town's website, we do have a notification alert system that if you'd like to become part of, you can go to wellfleet-ma.org. www.regroup.com, and it is on our social media sites, and Courtney does have it up on the town site. And we are going to be selective. We're not going to send out messages daily, weekly. We are going to use it for, what we consider important information to push out to the community, along with any other extreme events or weather events in the future. So that is something that we do have. And just real quickly in closing, as Hillary, actually, as all of us have touched on, mental health is really big right now. And please understand, we do have resources that are available. Well, we do have the Navigator staff who we've been in touch with, and they are doing the same as doctors, Zoom, FaceTime, and phone calls. So please, we do have those resources available. Just keep an eye on family, friends, and neighbors. As we start stretching in the weeks here, it is getting harder and harder on the isolation that's out there. So whatever we can do, please call us, and we will get everybody in touch with the right professional staff. That is the police department update. We will move on to town administration. First, Dan's office, and then any select board members. Dan, you on?
I'm here. Every time I listen to one of these calls, I'm reminded how fortunate we are to have all of these people working for the town of Wellfleet. Every one of these people have been superstars. Not only our town staff, our town businesses, but we've seen the volunteers who have who really stepped up to the plate, and it makes me very proud to see this. Couple of updates from me, and then I'll turn it over to Mike Travato and Courtney if they have any updates. So right now we have town meetings scheduled for June the 1st. We're asking the select board this evening to postpone the town election until June the 8th. I have also asked our state representatives to contact people within state government and look at the possibility of being able to do a vote by mail for town meeting. A lot of logistics to work out there. We would probably have some sort of a live forum where people could discuss all of the warrant articles. And then once we've had that discussion, then they could vote by mail. Very unusual and different. Not everybody agrees with it, but I just don't see a time in the near future we're all ready we want to all cram into the Wellfleet Elementary Gymnasium to vote on town meeting articles. So I'm just looking at this as one of the safe options, and the state is looking at a number of options. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mike and to Courtney.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I just basically just want to thank the residents of Wellfleet for abiding by the governor's stay-at-home order and social distancing. We're entering a critical time period, as you all know, for this, and the continued cooperation is very important going forward. We're starting to see light at the end of the tunnel here, and this next couple of weeks are very critical. So just wanted to express that sentiment. Thank you.
And I don't have anything else to add except just continue to check the town website and our Facebook pages. The Wellfleet, MA Facebook group is the one that the staff puts out. But we do copy a lot of that information to the Wellfleet community space page. But the website should absolutely be your go-to place to look for any updates or information. And staff are working mostly remotely, but we're answering the phone at town hall. So don't hesitate to call the 0300 number if you need anything as well.
Great, thank you, Courtney. Again, we have 4 of our select board members on this morning's call, and we appreciate your continued support with this. And I see Helen, your hand is raised if you want to unmute yourself. Helen, go ahead if you want to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead, Helen.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Helen, we can hear you. I don't.
Okay,
I don't
good.
think her audio.
Yes, more people are wearing masks. Yeah. More people are wearing masks. That's good. Way more than last week. However, yesterday I was in the marketplace with the essential workers who work there. There were 4 people there. All of them were older and they were men, but that wasn't an issue. And none of them had masks. It's hard to social distance in those aisles. This is one of the most important establishments we have here right now because shopping for food is a big issue. And when I said to 2 of the people very gently, we should be wearing masks, one of them looked at me, it wasn't adversarial, and he said, how do I get a mask? And I get that. Is there some way that we can help Blackfish Variety, Trudy Place, Fox and Crow, and most important, the marketplace? How can we have masks more readily available? I only got masks last week. Before that, I was using a bandana. And there are communities here in Massachusetts that I heard that in Nantucket, I think it's mandatory. I didn't check that this morning. But that was scary yesterday. Once again, 4 people without masks, not able to socially distance, and the people who work there are sitting ducks. Thank you, that's all.
Great, thanks. Hillary, do you have a response to that? I know you mentioned during your comments about
I did reach out to the high school yesterday and filled out a request form for masks. They will make them and notify me when they are done. They will give us as many as they can make to keep up. So I think we'll start with maybe 10 and then they'll continue to make them as we need them. It seems like there are folks around that are making masks. They're just kind of getting difficult to obtain. I know I myself went on to Etsy and purchased one that I liked that's fashionable in some sense, so I'm comfortable wearing it. So I think, people can get them if they choose to. You can buy one or you can wait town to obtain more and we will distribute them.
Great, thanks, Hillary. Kathleen?
Yeah, thanks, Chief. I'm just going to tag on to the mask thing, but I've got a few questions. One, the Wellfleet Community Marketplace will be getting face shields sometime this week. They're being delivered to the marketplace, and each employee will have a full face shield. And Deirdre Oranger, who's the partner of Lisa Brown, has been making masks and providing them to the marketplace on a regular basis since this started. So I'm unsure as to why any employee there does not have a mask, because we've been on this with the marketplace now for almost 3 weeks. So that's all I'm going to say about the masks from the market. For Hillary, I've got a couple of questions. One, in your opinion, do you feel the curve is flattening? Are you seeing a trend?
Well, I would say, statewide possibly, but I still feel like on the Cape, we haven't yet seen the surge. I mean, we had 1 case yesterday. I feel like we're going to see more before it starts to come down locally. I'm hopeful that we won't. And, we just need to stay vigilant and continue to watch the numbers.
And I agree with you. I think that what we're seeing community-wide is that the denial about the COVID virus is, that's gone. So people are being much more vigilant and cautious. My second question is, when do you expect the surge? What's the time frame, in your opinion? I know you can just ballpark it.
I would say we are at least 2 to 3 weeks behind Boston. So I would say in the next couple of weeks, I would assume we're going to start to see more. I mean, there is the chance that our social distancing is working, and we might not see it, but I'm going to hold on for another 2 to 3 weeks before I, get behind that.
Okay, I feel the same way. My next question, Jay Norton, if you're there, I spoke to you last week about a trash receptacle in the central district, somewhere in the area of the marketplace. Do you know if DPW was able to provide anything? Are you there, Jay?
Yep, if he can just unmute himself, there he goes.
Hi, Kathleen. We haven't put anything yet because we're still monitoring the situation. We're trying to protect our staff. We are regularly patrolling the area for any trash around town, and we haven't seen anything egregious yet to, provoke us putting that back. So we are continually monitoring that.
And my next question, Jay, would the DPW consider an amnesty day for the town of Wellfleet sometime maybe July or even in August to deal with some of the, things that have just been packing up here?
Yes, that's definitely been on our mind, and we have met and discussed that with Mike Sicali and also Mark Vincent. And I think the consensus is to probably push that to the fall.
Great.
So that is definitely on our mind, and we'll be coming out with an update on that pretty soon.
Okay, thank you. My next question's for Suzanne Grout Thomas. Are you there?
Here I am.
Suzanne, could you consider a mail-in beach sticker transaction where people, I'm fearful that once this is over, the beach sticker office is going to be, crammed, jammed, backup. Could we do some kind of mail-in for people to get their beach stickers?
Well, I think we do have the online capacity, and most everyone has, except for those who don't have access to the internet.
Well, that's what I'm
should
thinking,
be able to order them online. Yeah, they can do that right now. We're open. You go on the website, click on resident and taxpayers beach stickers by online, and as I said, we've done about $12,000 so far this year.
Well, if someone doesn't have access to a computer, is there a place or an address where they could mail in a copy of their registration and a check made payable to the town of Wellfleet and get a beach sticker through the mail?
I think in June, when my normal staff comes on, that would be absolutely possible because we'll have enough people to process it in a timely fashion. And I also have been thinking about not opening the beach sticker office to the public and having visitors order their stickers online as well. And then we would not necessarily mail them, but we'd have 1 hour a day where they're distributed to people who have purchased them that day. Because I don't think I'm comfortable, I know I'm not comfortable with the profile of everybody and all their closest family members and friends standing in clumps next to each other in line for over an hour.
Exactly.
So that's something to be formulated and organized so that no one is particularly put out, but everybody gets what they need.
I think in general going forward, we should all realize that while we might come out of the COVID crisis, hopefully sooner rather than later, the fear factor that's behind this biblical crisis that we're in will take some time before it goes away. So going forward, how do we deal with the tourism and our guests and visitors to alleviate their anxiety on that? And that's something we should be looking at. And that's why I'm asking about the beach stickers and how we can manage, doing it a different way. I might also like to thank, I'm in the tail end of my term as a selectman here in Wellfleet. I've been really grateful to be able to do this job. I've been honored to work with all of you people. I'm like Dan, I'm very, very proud of the community and the staff and just the residents that just keep showing up every day, in a good humor. It's not an easy place to be right now. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Kathleen. I see the other hands up. Courtney just had a quick comment.
I'm not sure if Mike DeVasta wanted to touch on this, but I'll just go ahead. The COVID Needs Response Task Force, which is made up of Suzanne, Mike DeVasto, partners from Outer Cape Health Services, Lower Cape Outreach Council, the Common Table, and some other groups. They're going to be holding twice monthly community calls similar to this, where residents can tune in and hear what resources are currently available for them during this time. So those are going to be on the first and third Fridays, also at 10 a.m. That information is all over the website as well and on the Facebook pages. So it's the first and third Fridays at 10 a.m. So the first one will be this coming Friday. And you can listen to hear what resources are currently available for you during this time. And now Helen has her hand up.
Great, thanks, Courtney. I'll go over to Justina, who's been patiently
Yeah,
waiting.
sorry, Kathleen, I was referring to, Oh,
Thanks,
sorry.
Mike.
Fine.
I want to build on something that Kathleen said, and I'm sure is on everybody's mind, that we're in a unique situation of being a tourist town when our population shoots up. I've heard estimates from 15,000 to 30, but I always work with the 15,000 number. And I think that we're talking about when the surge occurs, but afterwards, I think everybody knows the same information I do, that we're being warned to look at a gradual rollout, and Charlie Baker's taking a conservative position. I have looked at crowded beaches and need to perhaps modify how restaurants work. So challenging it as it is, I think we need to start getting some data points on how we keep our community safe in the summer with the population increase. I know short-term rentals, I don't have any statistics on how many rentals have been booked, but they're only restricted till May 1st. So I think because of our tourism position, we're going to need to start getting some data points on how we protect ourselves in the summer. I'm sure everybody else has thought of that, but it didn't come up in the call, so I thought I'd throw it out there.
Great, thank you, Justina. I appreciate it. You know, and I know moving forward as a town, as a select board, as your emergency management team, you know, we are going to sooner than later start having to look at some of these issues. We have July 4th parade, Oyster Fest. I mean, we do have a lot of events coming up this year, and I think there's going to be a new norm of life. And I think sooner than later, we're going to have to start having these conversations and start making some tough calls here.
Yeah, and just to piggyback quickly on that, we may not be able to have them all. We may have to look at not opening our beaches. That's Suzanne's call, obviously. But just because the surge ends, it's not going to, unfortunately, allow us to safely spring back to normal. So I don't have any answers. I've been following any news on Charlie Baker that I can, and I'll start to try to make some phone calls.
Great, thank you. Michael, I know you've had your hand raised.
Yeah. Hello?
Yep.
So, yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on that. Even if we flatten the curve nationwide, there's still going to be virus around, and I am concerned about the potential for day tripping and you know, people wanting to get out and deciding that Wellfleet's a good place to come for the day because our beaches are open and they can pay to park or get a, you know, a 3-day beach sticker or something like that. And I just don't know if we should be encouraging that sort of thing. I'm wondering if it would make sense to potentially just have seasonal beach stickers when they do go on sale, so that we're not encouraging people day tripping from cities. And I'm doubtful that we're going to be able to have short-term rentals as the state, at least in the early summer. So I'm not sure that's going to be kind of up to the state, I guess. I don't think we have much control over that as a town. Maybe we do. But my concern really is sort of not encouraging people to take day trips down here and have these sort of weekends where, you know, we can get overwhelmed with visitors because things are going to be different. There's not people in their vacation spots or traditional vacations. It's not like people are taking breaks from their normal work, and I've just been sort of getting more and more concerned about the idea of the weather getting really nice and people going, well, let's just take a drive out to the Cape, you know? So I think we all need to start thinking about that sooner than later, because the weather's definitely going to be getting better, not worse.
Hi.
Great, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Helen, before we open up questions, any?
Yes, thank you. I want to tag on to a version of what Mike said. People abandon cautions they have in other places on many levels, traditionally and currently, when they come here for a day trip. They want to lose their cares. I get that. These cycles of infection are going to roll on into this year until vaccinations can be widely applied. And I feel that unfortunately, we cannot be too conservative about this. Briefly, Kathleen, I was addressing the fact that there were people using these essential services without masks, not the people who were, working there. They had masks. But if you read about the aerosol capabilities of this virus, particularly in dry weather, anything you breathe out, and most of the people who have it are asymptomatic now and will continue to be so. In other words, people who are asymptomatic are giving it to people who will then be asymptomatic. That's what I meant by cycles of infection. And we can live with this, but we can't pretend it's going to be over and relax our behavior. I would like to, you would like to, everybody would like to, but we can't do that. So I was hoping that an acknowledgement of the heroes who work in the grocery stores and the hardware stores and so forth be given equal value in terms of protection to the people in, let's say, the rescue department who are dealing with obviously sick people and definitely need to be completely protected. It's these other places that also need that. I don't mean the suits, but they need to have people coming in who are not breathing onto everything that is handled by the rest of us. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Helen. And again, hopefully, I know this video will be out on the town's website, and hopefully there'll be those members of the public and any of those essential workers that it sounds like we do have some organization and groups in town where we can get these masks. I know, speaking for the fire chief and myself, we have a limited supply, and MEMA is not promising anything in the future. Any requests that go in, sometimes we're seeing a 15 to 30-day delay in getting the items. So we will keep our eyes open. I know Courtney's working hard, Hillary and Suzanne over at Community Services. All right, we'll open it up to questions. Courtney has one she's going to answer in the chat. And then if anybody else has a question they'd like to ask, please either raise your hand or just mention it in the chat. Courtney?
Yep, so a woman named Mary has asked, well, she said, this meeting is a gift. Thanks for making it available and for all you're doing to hold us together. So thank you for that, Mary. And she asked if the town or anyone else is running a fund to help people who need money as well as services. If so, how can we contribute? If not, how can one start? So I've gotten a couple emails about this, and I forwarded them to the Needs Task Force group. But I think that there's plenty of these partners who've been around for a really long time, like Lower Cape Outreach Council, and other places like that. I know the Cape Cod Major Crisis Relief Fund is another place you can make donations to. Those are more regional or Cape-wide, but Suzanne, unless you know of any local town funds that are starting up, those are the best places I can think of right now.
No, I agree, Courtney, that existing Lower Cape Outreach Homeless Prevention Council, if you want to donate money to them and earmark it specifically for Wellfleet residents, they will do so and reserve those funding for the needs when a Wellfleet resident comes to them. So I would definitely concur with Courtney.
Great, thank you, Courtney. Are you seeing any hands raised with any questions?
Nothing in the chat and no hands are raised on the
I see
participants.
Ted.
I'm looking through the videos right now, so I'm trying to view everybody's screen. Susan Reverby has a comment she'd like to make, so I'm going to let her be unmuted.
Yeah. Hi, I'm the president of the Wellfleet seasonal residents. So I would like to make sure, and I've reached out to Courtney about this, I'd like to send out a newsletter. We've been sending out weekly updates, but I want to send out where people can donate. And I'm working with Courtney and hoping to if I can get that kind of list, then I will send it out to our membership. And I also want to tell them, based on what you've said today, about how to get the tickets, how to get the seasonal passes online, so we don't add to that. And I've been trying to summarize your meeting notes to the membership. So anything we can do to help, just, you all have my email, let me know. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Susan.
Great. Thank you, Susan. Ted, you raised your hand. If we can unmute Ted.
Hey, I just wanted to go back to the beaches and short-term rentals. I think that's the most important thing. And I'm glad somebody finally brought it up, but it seems to have just been kind of skipped over. You know, you need to see if there's something you can do to stop short-term rentals. I have them. I'm not doing them because I don't see any way that it could be safe. To clean them, to have that many people coming in and out, day trippers, full beaches. And I think that's the real danger. There's no cure. There's no vaccine. Nobody can really get tested unless you're sick. So that's about all I had to say.
All right, Ted, I appreciate it. I know this evening the select board is having their first of 2 public meetings this month. I know the emergency management team has requested a COVID-19 item on each agenda. And I think, as you have heard today, I think some tough decisions are ahead. And I think the proper forum for that will be select board meetings that are coming up, where obviously with input from our team and input from the community, we're going to have to be making some tough decisions here coming up. So again, they are meeting tonight at 6 p.m. and it is on Zoom, and there is a COVID-19 topic this evening. Just wanted to put that out there. Any other questions, Courtney?
I'm not seeing any more right now. I'll just remind everybody that they can always submit questions to town administrator at wellfleet-ma.gov. If there's any needs that they have, they can email needs@wellfleet-ma.gov, and continue to check the town website for anything like that.
Great, thank you. Chief, any last comments?
No, again, I would just like to thank everyone for participating. I think this is a very helpful forum. And please, everyone, be healthy. And certainly, again, if you need us, call us. Don't hesitate. Thank you.
Great, Chief. Thank you. Again, we appreciate it. I believe we had about 50 participants today. In past weeks, we've averaged 70 to 80 participants. So we appreciate the support. Again, this will be played online, so you can just let members of the community know. And again, we'll be back here again next Tuesday at 10 a.m. And again, same format. And we do have notes from today's meeting that will be posted online, along with the chat questions. But again, please reach out to any of us, either via email or phone in the interim. And again, there is a select board meeting tonight, 6 p.m., where again, I think in this meeting and future meetings, the topic of where we go for the season in the summer will definitely be discussed. So thanks again. Thanks to the team. Stay safe, social distance, and keep washing those hands. Thank you.